Have you ever wondered whether maybe you're creating the crisis or the issue or challenge simply because that's the way you operate best? If as a leader that is a bit of a pattern for you, one of the things I want to talk about today is being more conscious of that. And I'm not saying this in a way that is saying you need to beat yourself up about it or that you have to fundamentally change who you are. A whole bunch of the personal work, the reflection, the self-awareness that I am encouraging you to go on, like that journey for you as a leader, is simply for you to become more aware. In that consciousness, you then have a choice. And the ways that you behave, the way you interact, can then become more intentional. It may be that there are situations where you still decide to behave that way, either from a healthy place or actually you are just reactive in the moment and you might later regret that, but that's okay too, you are human. So as we talk about this today, as we talk about really that question of, am I creating the business crisis that I actually really should be trying to avoid? When we ask that question, first up, as we explore this together, you and me, I want you to know that this is a safe space, that I am not here to judge you or change you, but I simply want to ask you some questions and get you to reflect and tune in to what is true for you. What you choose to do with that is your call, not mine. So let's unpack this a little bit. When I think of my own patterns and my own behavior, the reality is that I have historically been at my best and am acting in a place where I have a strength that many other people do not have when everything is chaotic. When there is a crisis, I come with my A game. I am calm. I am clear and able to make decisions when others feel overwhelmed. And that is not a small thing. And that's not something to be ashamed about or shy away from. But what I want us to think about is that from the standpoint of maturity, from the standpoint of wisdom, we need to be able to assess how we're showing up in any given situation and make decisions about whether this is healthy, not just comfortable and us in our sweet spot, but whether this is actually good for the business, good for our team, good for our customers or the broader stakeholders we're working with. It is our responsibility as a leader to think about the impact, the influence, the flow-on effects, the consequences, both intended and unintended, of our behavior, of our decisions. And that is what I'm talking about today. So if you are in a situation, it is chaotic, there is crisis, everyone's stressed, falling apart, not knowing what to do, and looking to you as the leader to show them what the next step is. I want you to pause for a moment and I want you to ask yourself, is this a crisis or a challenge that I have actually brought about because it allows me to operate in my zone of genius? Or is this a genuine crisis, a genuine challenge that we are facing, and in which case I need to jump in and lead here? I need to bring my brilliance, my unique skills of being able to be calm in a storm and then proceed from there. If when you pause and ask that question, you actually realize that this crisis was brought on because of your decisions, your behaviour, and your own preferences, then you're still going to have to solve it. You've caused a problem, right? The crisis is happening. But it is an opportunity for you to start to really say, okay, how do I make this a learning experience? How can I make sure next time when I am in those precursors to the crisis, when different things are coming up, how do I make sure I become intentional and conscious earlier and I catch myself and say, okay, is the way I'm showing up, is the way I'm making decisions and behaving, setting me on a course that is going to end in crisis, that is going to end in chaos and challenges and problems for my team, my organisation, or myself? And if it is, are there some other options here? For example, is this a moment where I realise, okay, I have a strength of being incredible in a crisis, but what are the strengths of those on my team? Are there people who I could actually hand this off to, who I could say, you know what, this is triggering something in me, or this is how I'm thinking I'm going to solve this problem or engage with this particular conversation or client. I would love your input as someone with very different strengths to just start to look at it from a different perspective, to start to give an opportunity or a platform for other people's brilliance to step in. Because you know what? It may be that this situation that you are pushing towards chaos or crisis doesn't have to go there. And if it can be avoided, maybe that's a good thing. Like, you might find that a bit boring. You might say, oh, but I actually liked the idea of a little bit of adventure and the adrenaline pumping. But if that is not what is best for those around you, for the business, for the team, for your customers, if that's not what's best in this chapter or this moment, then bringing someone else in with a different viewpoint, a different preference and strength is actually really wise. So that's just a little bit of food for thought that I wanted to share with you today. And again, please do hear me when I say I am sharing this from a place of deep experience myself. Brad, my partner, always says, Bessi needs a dragon to slay. Again, that makes me an amazing leader in a crisis, but it also means without self-awareness, I can often create a dragon because I'm bored and because I want to be operating in my sense of flow and in the opportunities that give me energy. So if you are similar to me in that regard, I hope that some of what we've talked about today can just sit in your mind. Maybe just think about that, and when that next conversation comes up, that next opportunity, and you start to go down a path that is actually creating a crisis, you pause long enough to ask, is this actually what I want to be doing intentionally? Or is this an opportunity for me to say, someone else needs to put their brilliance on display now, because the path I'm headed down might be exciting for me, but is not the best thing for us as a collective at this time. I hope that was helpful, and please do connect with me and tell me your experiences, tell me your thoughts on the back of listening to this today. All the best in your journey, and I hope that you feel more able to step fully into who you are as a leader as you start to become more aware and conscious in these really important topics. Because Your role as a business owner, a business leader, is critical. We need you to be at your best, but to be at your self-aware, wise best, where you actually deeply know and act from a place where you do not see yourself as the answer to every problem, but instead you know when it's your place to step up and lead, and you know when it's your place to create that beautiful platform and opportunity for other people's brilliance to shine, so that ultimately through your business you can create and contribute to meaningful impact in areas you care about. Your business is already having an impact in the world. The question is it a positive one? The question is it contributing to things you genuinely care about? Your consciousness, your journey as a leader will help bring you to a place where you can unite and have alignment between that growth and business strategy that brings you the financial freedom you're looking for, but more importantly, brings into that the fulfillment that is so often lacking when we don't have clarity around what is meaningful, what brings purpose, and where is our contribution. So I hope that this helps, and I will see you back here shortly.